I'm muted. I'm back. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Little change in schedule today, but we are grateful nonetheless to be here because it's time for an all new episode of Project Joy Live. Let's do it. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. It is June 26, 2024. We are coming fast to the end of June, everybody. I hope that the first half of the year has treated you amazing. And if you're feeling some kind of way about the first half of the year, I'll invite you to join us Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for all new episodes of this show, Project Joy Live, because this is where it's at to increase that vibration and live with more joy in your life, to be the joy and all that good stuff. So, little change of schedule today. We were supposed to be joined by Olivia Ambani. She has been joining us the second and fourth Wednesday of every month for us our Sounds of Joy segment, and I was so excited about our chat we were going to have today, and then I received a message this morning that she would be unable to join us today. And it's interesting because I've talked often about how we live in our own little bubbles, right? Most of the time we are aware of just what happens around us. And I know that many of us have committed to not like watching the news and things like that because of it just not being in the vibe that we want to be in. And then sometimes, even with social media, though things travel really fast on there, we sometimes are just not aware of things. And there has been a lot of unrest going on in Kenya. So I just wanted to take a moment this morning. Olivia said that their internet connection was turned way down because of all of this political protesting and all of this unrest going on in Kenya. So just wanted to take a moment, if we could all just come together wherever you're joining us from this morning, and let's just send a Care Bear stare, if you will, of peace and love to Kenya, to Olivia, to her family. And then let's take a moment and extend that even further to anyone, anywhere, any place on this planet that feels devoid of peace in this moment. Let's take a moment and send joy, peace, love to those areas. Thank you so much for joining me for that this morning. Sometimes like I said, we're just not aware of what's going on in other parts of the world. And I really do, really hoping that Olivia can be back with us very soon, and sending everyone love that is experiencing the unrest over in Kenya, at this time. So thank you guys for joining me for that this morning. We have a great show for you today, nonetheless, and I am excited to be here with you for it this morning. So let's chat about it in the morning brew. All right. Are you guys up and yawning and stretching and all of that good stuff? Let me know if you feel awake this morning. Do you feel awake? We have a great show for you today. I've got a moment of compassion for you this morning, and our moment of compassion may be a little bit of a trigger warning, just forewarning. Okay, just a little bit of a trigger, because there's a certain phrase that we hear in the spiritual development community that we're just going to touch on that a little bit today, and where joy is concerned. I also have we're going to talk about appreciation today. We've talked about gratitude before, but when I learned the difference between appreciation and gratitude, and maybe how one leans on the other, I wanted to talk about this morning, because I think that appreciation, I feel like, is such a uh, pillar of being joy that we talk about on this show. And so we're going to talk about that in our daily uplift today. In case you missed the show on Monday with Brett Weiss, I want to give you guys another look at the trailer from The Girl from the Village, because when Brett was on the show Monday, I mean, they won 2 more awards for that short film from Monday, from the time he was on the show Monday. So I want to give you another look at that trailer coming up. And then, of course, we've got birthdays and all your favorite segments happening. And excited to go into that with you guys here today. Let's see who's joining us this morning. We got Miss Brittany out there in that VIP seat. Good morning and happy Wednesday to you. Hello. That must be Miss Rhonda joining us from the airplane. Safe travels to you, Rhonda. We will miss you this weekend for sure. Miss Nancy is here. Good morning. Good to see you. Yes, sending those good vibes, that Care Bear stare over to Kenya this morning. Brett is here joining us. Good morning, Brett. I'm sad Olivia is not able to join us. It is so sad what's going on in Kenya. Let's all pray for peace and the people of Kenya, for the people of Kenya. Absolutely. Like I said, it's one of those things, and I always I'm so committed on the Breakthrough Show Network, no matter what show we're doing, to really to shed light on certain things that are going on around the world, because so many of us are like, I'm not watching the news, I'm just not participating in that. I do think it's important to still know what's going on, but we have the ability as leaders here on the Breakthrough Show Network to frame things in the light of truth, and also from the light of perspective, to talk to people that are in those areas and get a real view of what's happening. I consider that a tremendous honor and privilege to be able to do here. My job is not to come on here and just spew to you information that I've heard from a third party of someone who may or may not be in that area. I want to bring you those people and have those tough conversations of saying, this is what's really happening. This is what it's like. And that's the power of sharing individual perspectives and storytelling in that sort of way. So I'm just honored that we have the opportunity to do that here on the Breakthrough Show Network. And sometimes it's challenging with live shows because there's stuff going on all around the world. And there are times when I just want to address this really quickly. There are times when there's things going on and I do not address them on the show. And that is because of what I just said. I don't feel like my job is to come here and just say, well, this is going on in this country and that's it. I want to be able to bring you those perspectives. So I know I mentioned today's information, one, because I know you guys were expecting Olivia today, and two, because I know Olivia will be able to come back and share her perspective on the ground in Nairobi and all of the challenges that they are facing there. Yes. Okay. So Rhonda is waiting for connection in Toronto. You're not on the plane yet. Okay. Peace in Nairobi and everywhere as well. Love that, Rhonda. So let's get into the show today. It's going to be a good one, regardless. We love Olivia and miss her so much today. But I've got starting us off with a moment of compassion this morning. It's going to be a tough one. Let's do it together. All right, you guys, I really am enjoying this moment of compassion with you a few days a week. Compassion is really, today, later on in the show, we're going to talk about, appreciation being a pillar of gratitude. But I really feel like compassion and working like my daughter got when we went to the science museum for their birthday. I mentioned that we're going to talk about that on Friday, but she got this like putty thing that it's like it's she calls it a fidget, but it's putty. Remember when we had silly putty growing up? You guys remember, in the little red egg? But I feel like compassion is something that you're sitting there and you're fussing with and you're molding as time goes by. And so I feel like compassion is such a huge pillar of being joy. And so I love that we get to talk about this morning. And this one, I gave you a little forewarning. It's a little bit triggering today, and I'm going to explain why. But it's from the teaching of American Buddhist nun Pema Chodron. Again, these are just teachings that are on little cards based on her practice of being a Buddhist. But I love a lot of I'm not a Buddhist myself, but I love a lot of these thoughts, and I think they really help us to work that compassion muscle. So this is number 21, and it says, always maintain only a joyful mind. Always maintain only a joyful mind. Now, what phrase in the spiritual development community does this automatically remind you of? Anyone? Any thoughts? I know there's going to be a delay, but type it in the comments if you can think of a phrase in the spiritual development community that this reminds you of. Always maintain only a joyful mind. What I thought of when I heard this initially is how people use the phrase spiritual bypassing. Raise your hand if you've heard that before. Or, second phrase that came to mind, toxic positivity. Anybody else hear that phrase before? Raise your hand, let me know. Want to read to you the commentary on the card, and then we'll go back and discuss. So the commentary says, constantly apply cheerfulness, if for no other reason than because you are on a spiritual path. Have a sense of gratitude to everything, even difficult emotions, because of their potential to wake you up. All right. I love this so much because and I wanna we're gonna dive in because this is a good one. Constantly apply cheerfulness, if for no other reason than because you are on this spiritual path. Have a sense of gratitude to everything, even difficult emotions, because of their potential to wake you up. Now, going back to always maintain only a joyful mind. I want to break this down a little bit because it doesn't say you will only be joyful ever. It doesn't say only be joyful. Okay. It says always maintain. Now, what does it mean to maintain? To me, maintain means to work on, to keep an eye on, to be aware of. So when I talk about maintaining my car, I'm listening for little sounds, right? I'm taking it in to get an oil change. I'm working on it, keeping an eye on it, taking care of it. So when I really honed in on that word maintain, it took those other phrases, that spiritual bypassing, that toxic positivity, it took that right out of my brain because that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about maintaining. Always, let's take out that word maintain. Always be aware of a joyful mind. Always work towards having a joyful mind. And we've talked several times in this compassion series about it being something that we're working on as time goes by. And so, and also working on it in times of challenge, because we're working on it all the time. If we're only applying compassion to our lives, if we're only being compassion during times that it's easy, we're not really working that muscle. Right? And so I love this idea of having gratitude when things are really difficult. And it also feeds into what we've talked about here on the show before, which is the multifacetedness of us as human beings. It is possible for us to have gratitude for something while still not really being thrilled about it. It is possible for us to choose to be joyful even when things are really hard and difficult, because joy doesn't always look like, as we've discussed, this being joy doesn't always look like a smile on the face and perfect conditions. Joy is us as a whole and the experience that we get to be in here on this planet. And sometimes that looks like sadness. Sometimes that looks like anger. Sometimes that looks like us crying. It looks like a lot of different things. It is the mosaic of who we are and what life is that is joy. And there's okay there I don't know if there I don't know the this is going to bother me that I don't have the gentleman's name, but there is someone on Instagram, and I will bring this back up on Friday. There's someone on Instagram. I'm doing a quick scroll to see if I recognize, if he happens to pop up right now. Of course, I can't think of it in this moment. That talks about relationships. You guys might know who I'm talking about. And sometimes he will put on a wig and do like this role play of like him and his wife and interactions and how to communicate better together and all of that. But I ran across one that he did this morning where he talks about things not things not to say to a mom. And one of the points that he was making was like, he was saying how people say to moms, well, like a mom will say that she's frustrated about her child or a certain situation in her family. And somebody will say, oh, well, you need to appreciate this moment because it's going to pass. And one day you will look back and appreciate it. Well, what he was making a point of in that video is you can feel frustration and you can feel lost and you can feel all of these things as a mother and still be incredibly grateful and appreciative of it at the same time. I mean, if you want to talk about bypassing, the one thing we bypass so often in our existence as human beings is the fact that we are multifaceted, that we are layered. Right. And so I think that if there's anything we bypass often, it's that we don't give ourselves permission to feel all the things. We don't give other people the space and permission to feel all the things at one time. Right. So I love this morning. Always maintain only a joyful mind. I will say to that, absolutely. And um, constantly apply cheerfulness. I love that sentence. If for no other reason than because you are on a spiritual path, because you have committed to being the joy, be the joy. If for no other reason, there are no rules. I don't care what anyone tells you. There are no rules on how you have to respond to any given situation. There are no rules that says when something really horrible happens that you can't also simultaneously be grateful for it. That you can't be cheerful that you've gone through the experience. It doesn't mean that you're also not going to be any other slew of emotions. But don't let anyone today tell you that you can't be positive, you can't be cheerful, you can't be joyful because you're supposed to be any number of other things. I would I would challenge you to stop and say, "You know what? I can be that and." We're practicing the and word here on Project Joy Live. And with that, let's get to the daily uplift. Beautifully into what we're talking about in our moment of compassion in our daily uplift today, because we're talking about appreciation. And I have something fun to share with you today that I went down right down my little rabbit hole. Also, want to say good morning to Miss Teresa watching from Freya's house this morning. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Freya. And I am not going to sing that song live on air. So I'm gonna upset Grandma Teresa. Gonna happen. Yes, love it. I'm so glad that you received this message today. And we're allowed to multitask our emotions. Absolutely. So we've talked about gratitude a lot on Project Joy Live. We've had Sharon Saraga Walters on often, who is the queen of gratitude. And today I Teresa's like, no, please. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, Teresa. I held myself back. Um, so today I want to break down appreciation for you, because one of the things, there we go. One of the things that I have talked about often since I've moved back home to my hometown here in New London County, Connecticut, is appreciation. Having a new appreciation for things and being able to witness my hometown here through the eyes of my children who had never experienced this area before. And so I decided, as I do, to go right down the rabbit hole into appreciation. And I thought to myself, what is the difference between gratitude and appreciation? And in that exploration, I discovered for myself that appreciation, though related to gratitude, which I'll break down here for you in just a moment, is a pillar. Appreciation is a pillar of being joy. And I've discovered that for myself here this morning, and I'll break down why. So, as a good homeschooling mom that I am, I went down the rabbit hole of looking up definitions and all of this stuff. And I found an article that talked specifically about this, about defining gratitude and appreciation. And there's a paragraph that reads, as we get started, it's important to consider exactly what we mean by the terms gratitude and appreciation. Many of us use these words interchangeably, but there is a useful distinction to be made between them. The Oxford Dictionary Online defines gratitude as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation, and to return kindness. So you can see now already how that they are related in some way. On the other hand, appreciation is defined as the recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. Fundamentally, then, we see gratitude as a more general internal state of being, while the appreciation tends to represent the more particular ways we choose to express that gratitude through our thoughts, our attitudes, our external words and actions. Thus, gratitude is the inner foundation from which appreciation can develop and prosper. Anybody else having a mind blowing moment with me here this morning? I love how this breaks down. And one of the reasons I love this is because many times, and I will speak from the perspective of being a parent, okay? From a parent, a lot of times we do use that gratitude and appreciation interchangeably. Or maybe we're talking about appreciation, but what we're really talking about is, or we're talking about gratitude, but what we're really talking about is appreciation. And the reason I say that is because let me know if you're a parent, or even if any interaction any of you have ever had with anyone, if you've ever felt like that person just isn't grateful. Let me know if you've ever thought that before. I have felt like from times with my children that I've thought they're really not acting very grateful. What if, and now you guys can play we're already down the rabbit hole. Now we're swimming in the pool that is now at the bottom of the rabbit hole. What if a person can be grateful and have gratitude? Because for me, it's about what it says, that the gratitude is a sort of foundation, it's an awareness. What if we can have that awareness, that gratitude, but maybe we haven't yet learned how to have appreciation and show appreciation on the foundation of that gratitude? So when I go back to that example of being a mom, I might feel like, or make an assumption that my child isn't grateful for something that they have, when it might not be that at all. They could very well be grateful for something that they have. Perhaps they haven't yet learned how to show appreciation for it yet. Perhaps the way that I show appreciation and they show appreciation are simply two different things. When I talked about, we used that word levels before, maybe we have different levels of appreciation. It's possible that you and I could have gratitude for the exact same thing, but the real difference is where we butt heads is because we choose to show appreciation in different ways. Just having a moment here this morning, and I love this topic today because it does tie in so beautifully to what we talked about during our moment of compassion today. Because if our goal is to be more compassionate, we can sit here and we can talk about what's going on in Nairobi, Kenya, and say, well, I'm going to pray for them or send peace to them, I'm not discounting that. It's a great and wonderful thing. But now, how can we put action to having more peace in the world? And one of the things that will help us have more peace is when we have deeper conversation, when we're able to communicate with each other in effective ways. And that enables us to build our compassion towards one another. And we're sitting here a lot of the time making assumptions and disagreeing about whether or not someone's grateful and getting all bent out of shape about it, which is lessening our vibration. It's lessening our space of compassion. What if we're both grateful, but we just show appreciation differently? Good morning, Kevin Kylie. And so maybe then we can have conversations, more effective conversations about what appreciation looks like to each of us, so that when we're then viewing appreciation in another person, we're not assuming that they're not grateful. We can just go, okay, they're showing appreciation in their way. And it doesn't make any of it right, wrong, or indifferent. It just is. Now, I do want to add to this conversation that I think sometimes we can stand to show appreciation in a more effective way. And the reason I say that is because oftentimes we've talked about on this show our words matching our actions. I really feel like that's something that each of us can stand to work on in our journey, right? And for example, we say that we are grateful for our bodies, but are we showing appreciation for it when we shove it with a entire bag of Oreo cookies? You know, we say that we are grateful for having a home to live in, but are we appreciating it? Maybe we are grateful for the home we live in. Maybe we are grateful for our bodies, but are we showing appreciation to it? It's that appreciation, I feel like, is that next level of gratitude. It's like we can feel it, but it's that actionable part of it. So I think for me, this is really helpful on my compassion journey this morning because of how many times in my life I have assumed that someone is not grateful for something based on their actions, based on how they are expressing appreciation. And I think if we can differentiate between the two and allow ourselves and other people to have gratitude, to say, yes, I'm grateful, that it's the appreciation that we need to work on, not necessarily the gratitude. We talk about often, um, making lists and things, having a gratitude rampage, which I love. I love to just set a timer for 5 minutes and go down the rabbit hole of gratitude, and to list off all the things in my life that I'm thankful for. I love that. I love the way that feels. And then, what are we doing with that energy? How are we showing our appreciation? Does our level of appreciation match the gratitude we say that we have? And I believe in being able to define these two things, separate them a little bit, and go, wow, this is amazing. I have come to the space in my heart where I believe that, and if we want to really increase that joy in our lives, if we're in that space of actionable gratitude, which we know now is appreciation, if we are practicing more appreciation and not just the awareness of the joy, just skyrockets. It skyrockets because I think about so many times for myself. Even yesterday, I'll give you a very specific thing to this. I really was feeling very connected to my brother yesterday. Many, in an energetic level. Many of you know my brother passed away 14 years ago. And one of the beautiful things that I really enjoy about being back here in Connecticut is I'm very close to where my brother is buried, my grandparents as well. And I was really feeling very connected with him energetically. I was feeling very grateful for my brother. And I had some time. I was early picking up my husband, and he's buried very close to where my husband works. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to swing by the cemetery really quickly. And so I went by the cemetery, pulled in there, and I got out of the car and I went to go walk to his headstone. And because it's spring and there's friggin' pollen and sap and everything everywhere, the headstone is like a mess. And I didn't have anything with me. I mean, I had extra time, but I didn't have unlimited time. And so I just stood there for a minute and I didn't know what else to do, but I really just I took a minute and I'm like brushing away all of the leaves and the pollen and everything. My hands were nasty. Like I'm brushing all of it off of his headstone. And I wanted to, his picture is beautifully, I'll see if I can bring it up here for a moment. His picture is beautifully etched onto his headstone. That's when I was there yesterday. But you can see like some of the pollen and things like that on there. And I just sat there for a minute, like scrunched down on the ground, and I'm wiping off the headstone and, making it as pretty as I could, just being there for a moment. And for me, that was a way that I could show appreciation to him and not just be grateful for him being in my life for the time that he was, but it was a way that I could be actionable about that gratitude and, clean things off and move things around and all of that. And so it was that next level of gratitude for me. So that's like the best recent, like literally yesterday example that I can use for myself of the difference between gratitude and appreciation. Brittany said, I have done it too. And now I will have a bigger awareness of other people's appreciation and how they show it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it can tie in a little bit to that. And for you too. Yes. Into that conversation about love languages. And though I think that'll be I think we're going to dive down the rabbit hole of that on an episode eventually, because I really feel like there are some love language flaws, if you will, in that conversation. I do think that learning love languages is helpful, but I think it's so much more in depth than we give that conversation credit for. But at any rate, I really feel like that's such a huge thing of going like, how, that their way of showing appreciation might be different, but it doesn't mean that they're not grateful. And then for us, because we don't have any control, over how somebody else expresses appreciation. So for us on our personal journeys, we can now say to ourselves, I say that I'm grateful for these things in my life. How am I showing the appreciation for what I say that I'm grateful for? How am I showing up in the gratitude conversation? Brittany said, I would love to join in that conversation. That the love languages would be an amazing panel conversation. And we might have to do like a little special edition episode of that one. So all of that being said, one of the things that I am really grateful for is having met Brett Weiss from the Weiss Scholarship Foundation. And one of the ways that I can show my appreciation for him coming on the show, and also the appreciation that I have for the work that he's doing in the world of education over in Dago, Kenya, is to share the trailer for The Girl from the Village, the documentary that they produced, that has now won several film awards. So check this out now.
It's gonna be alright, better than just fine.
Kenya, a land rich in culture, prideful of our ways, with a true sense of community. But the richness of our people's personalities can be overshadowed by our shortcomings. Poverty can be defined as the state of being extremely poor. But poverty is much more than not having enough money. Poverty is hunger. Poverty is not having a roof over your head. Poverty is not having a job or a future planned. Poverty has many faces, our faces. But as we face these challenges, we understand one thing, that through education, the opportunity to end poverty is extended to our youth.
I've been walking this road too long to give up right now. They say I know nothing, 'cause I'm so young now. But I feel somewhere inside I'm gonna make it. So I'm gonna keep on moving on. It's gonna be alright.
And by attending school, we can hope for a brighter future for our people. To one day use that knowledge to help solve not only the challenges in our villages, but across the globe.
It's gonna be alright. And it will be better than just fine. You watch this space, I'm telling you, a champion's in town.
We must start somewhere, and in the village of Dago, my journey towards higher education begins.
I'm Christine Akot, and in the fall I'll be joining Elmhurst University, that is in the US. I'm going to take medicine. It has been my dream for just a long time.
Thank you, Brett Weiss and the Weiss Scholarship Foundation, for all you do in the world. Christine brings great joy to everyone who gets to meet her. Love that. Love that. I put the links in the comments for you guys. When Brett was here on Monday, they're having two showings. One is on July 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And the other is on July 18th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I put the links in the comments. The tickets, I think, are $10. And you'll be able to watch the Girl from the Village documentary on Zoom. I am offering 2 tickets, first come, first serve, to a showing. All you have to do is send an email to jessica@thebreakthroughshow.com. jessica@thebreakthroughshow.com. I'm offering 2 tickets to see the documentary. I think I looked at my calendar, and I believe I will be doing the 16th showing. So the showing on the 16th. So if you want to attend with me, I think it's the 16th that I'll be doing. So first come, first serve. If you'd like to see the Girl from the Village, literally open to any of you. Just send me a message. For the rest of you, the link, if you'd like to just donate on your own and go see the documentary on Zoom, go check that out. I put the links in the comments for you guys to go get your tickets to those. So thank you again, Brett, for all you do in the world. Miss Kim is joining us this morning. Good morning. It's a special day for Kim, and we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Yes, the tickets are $10. There it is. Miss Mandy B's here this morning, passing through to say grand rising and sending love and joy your way. Always good to see you, Miss Mandy. And with that, it's birthday time, everybody. Let's do it.
Happy birthday to you.
I love celebrating birthdays. Literally one of my favorite things on the planet. In the world of celebrity, Ariana Grande is 31 years old today. Baseball player Derek Jeter is 50 years old today. The big 5-0, Derek. There it is. Ryan Tedder, singer from One Republic, is 45 years old today. Happy birthday, Ryan Tedder. Also, in the celebrities in my life, yesterday was a very good friend of mine's birthday, Casey Moynihan. Happy birthday, Casey. And I know, listen, I went and got her a big old bag of goodies and a card, and I left it on her doorstep yesterday on my way home from bringing. See, I just light up because it brings me so much joy to be able to do this. And she texted me, and she was so excited about this bag of goodies. And I was like, those are mama goodies. Those are like treats for mama that you hide because it's your birthday. Those are not shareable goodies. Those are just for you. So happy birthday, Casey. Also, very big day today because it is Kim Vandesand's birthday, everybody. Woo woo! Happy birthday, Kim. You guys may have seen her on recent episodes of The Breakthrough Show as well as Project Joy Live. So make sure you go check out those episodes, and I hope you have an amazing day, Miss Kim. Yes, it's cake day. Absolutely. So with that, let's get our birthday song on. All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ariana Grande, Derek Jeter, Ryan Tedder, Casey Moynihan, and Kim Vandesand. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. And I can't every single time. Yes, the Muppet energy is activated. Yes. It's happening. I gotta get going on that shirt. I've made some other shirts in our shop recently. You guys can find the shop if you go to the breakthroughshownetwork.com. You'll see a shop up at the top. We've got some cool merch in there from the show. I need to get that Muppet energy one in there. I'm working on it. It's happening. I want to talk to you about what's happening. I don't even know what's happening. Let's just be honest. Let's talk about what's going on the network. I'm really excited. In case you missed it, we have a brand new show coming to the Breakthrough Show Network in July. It is premiering on Wednesday, July 17th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be every Wednesday, hosted by the fabulous Giancarlo Tavares. And it's going to be a whole family variety show about our journeys together as a family, being multicultural. It's going to be amazing. So definitely don't miss that. Very excited about that announcement here on the Breakthrough Show Network. There's going to be more coming about it in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. Also, we have Pomodoro co-working coming up today at 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll work together from 2 to 4. You just go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club. Under workspaces, you'll see collaborative workspace. That's the room that we're in. When you go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club, you see a kind of like a series of rooms there that you can visit. You just click the one you want to go to. You can also go to the calendar that's there. And based on the event, it'll give you a link to go to join us in the room. But we have co-working today from 2 to 4. All you have to bring is you and whatever to-do list that you have, and we will hold each other accountable and work together in the energy of just getting things done. And I love that for us. So definitely join us for that. Tomorrow is our day off here on the Breakthrough Show Network. If you guys could send me some good vibes, I have my doctor checkup tomorrow, and I always love some good vibes for that because y'all know my interesting medical history that I've had throughout my entire life, but it's always a little nerve-wracking for me. So I would appreciate a Care Bear stare tomorrow, you guys. I would love that. And I will be back with you on Friday for an all-new episode of Project Joy, co-working. Speaking of Giancarlo, he's on the show, the Breakthrough Show, Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So don't miss that. And it's a great week here, guys. I'm here to help you with your joy. I'm here to help you with your breakthroughs. And I'm just excited that you're here with me no matter what. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. And I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life through appreciation and through gratitude today and every day. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.